Hello, everybody. Welcome back to HavoKast. Today, we are going to be talking about Iron Maiden's fifth studio album, the 1984 release, Powerslave. We've been talking about my kind of rankings of each song and what I think about them and everything like that. Just a brief kind of description of every song on the albums leading up to this. We're going to go through the whole list of their discography, of course. But this is where, we're right in the middle of this just legendary run of great albums. I could say from their first album up until Seventh Son, just nonstop, near perfection across all albums. Just something very good, very unique. We're in the point now where it's the middle of the 80s, and every single Iron Maiden album changes its sound a little bit, changes its style just a little bit, but keeps that unique Iron Maiden feel, which is something that I feel like keeps the band fresh, keeps the longevity. The only thing is now the songs track listing are shorter, so we have less songs on each album. We have about 8 songs per album going forward until the 90s, and, quality over quantity, so I'm kind of cool with that, and there's some high quality on the next 3 albums. 3 of my favorite albums, definitely always kind of flirting with the top, 4, 3, 5, like they're always up there. But Powerslave was a fantastic album, top to bottom. And so ranking these songs, there's no worst song. Statistically, there's a worst song, in my opinion, but it's like the worst of the best. They're all really high-ranking songs in general. I feel like the band was so cohesive on this album. Powerslave is a little more upbeat. It has some dark tones here and there, but for the most part, we're kind of like out in the open now. We have this just wide world we're building. The songs themselves don't intermingle as much on the album as they will in the next 2 albums. And then, of course, Seventh Son is like a whole concept album. So for sure, like they have a specific story they're telling. But Back in the Village is a song that's from, I believe, The Prisoner and Back in the Village kind of tie together. And there's just like a small world building kind of feel to it. The album itself has some tones for like Powerslave and the album artwork obviously work hand in hand with that kind of Egyptian feel. And The Rime of the Ancient Mariner is that just epic song where you're going on this journey. And so there's stories within the songs, of course, like Iron Maiden tells mostly. But this album feels like it's starting to get a little more cohesive. The albums before, you didn't see as much cohesiveness with all the songs, but very good writing, of course, very good storytelling. So now we're moving into the more world-building kind of epic album altogether. And I'm going to start the rankings here. As you guys know, I am not a huge fan of instrumental songs in general. There's only a couple that I just love across all bands. I love when the band just does what the band does. It's a band for a reason. So leaving out Bruce Dickinson especially, I understand they're just doing their thing. They're making songs. Steve Harris has a lot of influence on what gets on the albums and what doesn't, but it's tough to not have a Bruce on here. So Lost for Words is going to be my number 8. It's one of those things where it's just missing something. It's a great flex of instrumental just proficiency, but the song itself, I can see, like, here's the thing that's funny about it. I could not imagine this song with vocals because it's like good as an instrumental song. The instruments kind of carry it, of course, but, it's just tough. It's, Iron Maiden without a singer is weird to me. I love like epic build-ups and things, but for that vocal payoff, and this just doesn't give it to you. Pretty quick and easy, number 8. Flash of the Blade is my number 7. Like I say, though, these are all really good songs. Every one of these songs could be anywhere. I think, what's weird about this, we'll get to this later too. I didn't realize how controversial a lot of these rankings were on this album. I thought this album was just universally kind of thought of as like, oh, every song on here is really good and this and that. But some people hate like 2 Minutes to Midnight. Some people think Aces High is boring. Some people think The Rime of the Ancient Mariner is too long. And I respect all musical opinions and everything, but me personally, I mean, I think this album is just a masterpiece and fantastic across the board. So I think that's kind of interesting. But anyway, Flash of the Blade is my number 7. I think this is a really interesting song. I think that they do a lot of cool things on here, the tapping and everything like that. It's a fun song to listen to. I think every one of the songs on this album is so different from each other too, which is really nice. It's not like there's definitely, I think Killers was an album where a lot of the songs you could kind of just say, oh, that's this or that's that or whatever. And there, you could really listen for some specific uniqueness to each song, but really at the end of it, a lot of the songs you kind of just, they all sounded fairly similar. This one, they all start out so epically. That's something I think is incredible about Iron Maiden, is the way their songs start out. It's just so iconic for each song, and I think that's incredible. Flash of the Blade is no different. One of the most unmistakable introductions for a song. Flash of the Blade's awesome, but I don't love it as much as I love all of the other songs. I think it's not as powerful a song, and Powerslave is actually pretty heavy, so I just think in this context of the album, when I listen to Powerslave, it just doesn't feel as epic or heavy of a song. It's still a very fun song to listen to, but I haven't felt myself coming back to that one as much as I've come back to the next few. And then that being said, the Duelists at number 6, we are going to have, well, I guess the Duelists is interesting because this is probably the least standout iconic songs of this. It has the least iconic intro in my opinion, but it's definitely a song that I think all the way through is pretty good, and I like the way the guitars do intermingle a lot more. I think they highlight that on purpose, of course, in a song called The Duelists, but it is really fun to listen to that back and forth. And I just think, especially with Bruce being like pretty much at the peak of his powers around here, it's so good all the way through, and a consistent song. It's a song that comes on, and what sets this one apart from like Flash of the Blade for me and brings it a little higher, not that much higher, but a little higher, is the fact that when this one comes on, I don't just hear the intro and go, okay, cool, yeah, it's Flash of the Blade, and then kind of tune it out. The Duelists I let come on and then just listen to the whole way through. And Flash of the Blade I could easily listen to. It's just not one of those that I want to stick with for some reason all the time. Like sometimes I definitely want to listen to it and pick it up, but the Duelists, like, I never reach for it, but when it comes on, it's always on the whole time, and I'm singing it, and I'm happy to listen to it. So that's kind of where I'm at with that, number 6. Pretty cool solo, too. I will say that my number 5, Back in the Village, is a little different in the fact that this one I think is so underrated. I think Back in the Village is a very, very underrated song. I love that it kind of has this lineage story thing behind it, and then also I can't help but sing this one. I think it's fun to like just hit that Back in the Village, Back in the Village. The guitar riffs in here are just so 80s. They're so good. And I don't know. It's the way you go through this song, it's very technically put together well, but also not in a way where the writing gets sacrificed. I think that's the interesting way that Iron Maiden kind of mingles their songs. There's a lot of technique with it, but then also a lot of writing behind it. See, there's a lot of guitarists that can just do all kinds of crazy shred stuff on guitars and stuff that I could never even imagine putting out there. But I just don't want to listen to it because it's like, okay, we're just going through all these scales and motions and things, and it's more of a flex than it is something that I'd rather have something well written that I can listen to and enjoy and just experience and let kind of flow. Adrian Smith is one of the best writers at that, and you can tell this is kind of where we're getting a little more Smith influence into the writing, especially over the next couple of albums, but right here is where it really starts to kind of take off. And Dave is just incredible as a counterpart with Adrian Smith. Like, they just work out so well together. Of course, I mean, Steve is so bass heavy in all these songs, and you can really hear it here. I really just enjoy Back in the Village all the way through. It feels like something that was on the Number of the Beast, because Number of the Beast was such an 80s like riff heavy album. And Back in the Village definitely feels like something they might have written around then and then couldn't kind of flesh out until Powerslave, but gave it that like Powerslave feel, that tone. Tone is important with Iron Maiden also. Tone is really important because every single album art has like an overall theme and an overall color. Every single Iron Maiden album's recording has a specific sound and tone. So you can hear kind of the album artwork and the album tones and writings all work together to create this incredible atmosphere. And so I like, you could take a song from like Peace of Mind and put it on Seventh Son. And if you put it on Seventh Son, it would then take that song with the tone and have this more atmospheric, kind of airy feel with the guitar and the world around the song. It wouldn't work right unless they kind of modified it. So that's what Back in the Village feels like, which is kind of interesting to me and a little unique on this album as well. Like I say, 8 songs, 8 great songs, but also 8 unique songs. And we're going to move into the number 4 now, which is Powerslave itself, the self-titled. Fantastic song, a song that just keeps getting better for me with age. I love the scale in this, the runs. I love that they kind of change the key as well throughout the song. And the solo is just fantastic. Like I say, it plays off the atmosphere of the world, the art, the energy around this album so well. It definitely embodies the album. It's a great piece to have as your kind of title track. I really, really like this one. It's a great all around. And another one that you just can't help but sing. It's a crowd pleaser. I've seen it live a couple of times, and I've enjoyed it every single time live. But yeah, Powerslave is just fantastic. And I'm very happy that it's the title track, because I don't think this song, if Powerslave was any of the other songs on here, or the title track was supposed to be something else, it just would not hit as hard for me. Which, I mean, obviously, that's why they made it the title track. But I don't know, there's a lot of bands that just kind of throw a name on something and go, oh, yeah, this is the one, this is that one, and this is what... But no, this feels very calculated, methodical, and I like it a lot. It's at number 4 only because the next 3 are just so incredible. I mean, that's the hardest thing about ranking these albums, especially the 80s albums. These last 3 in the 80s are really difficult to rank, but they're just, it's so much quality over quantity. So there's none of those songs. I mean, this is Lost for Words is the only song on here where it's kind of like clear cut, like, yeah, this one for sure I'm not going to be super into. But over the next couple, I mean, it's anybody's guess. Yeah, Powerslave is one that I seek out. Like, I want, when I'm streaming or doing whatever, that is a song that I want to put on. Which is, I mean, it's great, but it's also, it can be kind of derailing at times, because there's definitely been times where I'm listening to some stuff and then Powerslave, Iron Maiden in general, will just kind of seek into the playlist. And that song specifically, I'm like, well, we're going to listen to Iron Maiden now. And then we just keep listening to Iron Maiden. So that's kind of a thing that happens more often than not, actually. But the next song, we have the epic on the album. We have the Rime of the Ancient Mariner. The only reason I have it at number 3 and not a little higher is because, sometimes it is a little too long. Not often, but just sometimes. When you listen to this album, you have to be, well, especially this song. If you listen to the song, you have to be ready for this song. And when you are listening to it, it is a journey. It feels like it's shorter than it is. But sometimes, especially during the like the interlude, like middle part, it does feel a little longer than it needs to be. But I love this song. I've always loved this song. I got to see it live too, and that was just fantastic. I think that I wouldn't shorten it. I wouldn't do anything with it. I just think it's one of those, like, I have to be in the mindset to it. But it's so good that even if I'm not like in the mindset to listen to it or want to listen to something that long, I still feel the need to put it on, and it'll shift that mood to, yeah, we're definitely listening to this. So it's one of those that can grab you and hold you. I love the Rime of the Ancient Mariner, though. Seeing it live was like nothing else. That was one of the best live songs I've ever seen, just in general. The way the fireworks kind of hit on the solos, the build-ups to that song. Steve Harris's bass is great in there. It was a song I learned on bass for one of the first ones, and I loved it. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's pretty damn close to a perfect Iron Maiden song across the board. It tells a great story. The thing I love about this era of Iron Maiden 2 is that not only are you listening to a story, but there's kind of a message within the story as well. Wasted Years is my favorite kind of like story, heed this warning, like just enjoy life kind of message. And it's one of my favorite songs because of that. But the Rime of the Ancient Mariner, same deal, and these are songs and stories and things that are passed down from generation, but retold in a way where people of the times can experience them and appreciate them as well. So I think there's really, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it feels like there's more benefit beyond just, hey, we're listening to an Iron Maiden song, if you really listen to it. And that might just be the fanatic in me or whatever, but that's kind of how I feel about that. The next two songs, staples of live shows. I love both of them very much. And this is where the controversy kind of comes in. Aces High is my number 2. I love Aces High. But I know some people... Well, I guess here's the thing. It leaves 2 Minutes to Midnight at my number 1. But Aces High at my number 2. I love Aces High. It's a great song. It's a quick hit. Just build you up. Bruce is awesome in it. I love the structure of the song, too, because it goes against that typical Iron Maiden structure where it's like verse, chorus, solo, harmony, and then we're back into the chorus or whatever. This one, it's like we have a verse, we have a chorus, we have a harmony kind of build up to a solo, back into a harmony, build up into the verse, chorus, and then it's the end of the song ends so epically to start off the rest of the album. It's a great opening track. It's a great album starter. It just gets you going. And the thing about Aces High is it's a great song that is simple enough where it's not going to overshadow the rest of the album, but it's incredible enough to get you pumped up for the epicness that follows. So I love Aces High. I love everything about it. It's another one of those fun songs to play, fun songs to listen to, great live song, and it's number 2 for a reason, because I just think that it does its job. It's simple enough where it does its job. Like I say, every song on here is really, really good, so it's tough to find that standout song. To me, there is a clear standout song. Aces High is close, but to me, number 1, 2 Minutes to Midnight is absolutely just phenomenal. And this is the funny thing. A lot of people really don't like this song, and I was surprised. A lot of Iron Maiden fans think it's too not like Iron Maiden to enjoy as much as the other ones, or it's a little jarring or a little abrasive, which I think is hilarious, because I find that amazing about Iron Maiden is how they can make great songs sound so different from each other, but still have that Iron Maiden. I mean, it definitely on this album sticks out. But every single one of these songs, if you really think about it, sticks out. I mean, we have an Egyptian theme song. We have the Rime of the Ancient Mariner. We have Aces High, which is like a dogfight kind of thing, scrambling jets and whatnot. I guess not jets, but fighters back in the day. You know what I'm talking about. We have the Duelists. They're all different kind of periods of time and like battle-y kind of fighting periods of time. 2 Minutes to Midnight is more of a Cold War kind of feel, and it's just a different time period with a different battle. It's very, I don't know, it's more of a warning, if anything. It's more of like a heed this warning, or this is how close we are to complete destruction and stuff. So the song is super dark, one of the darkest Iron Maiden songs, but the energy behind it. And not only that, the writing behind it. It's such a good guitar riff that all the way through this song, I could listen to the song anytime you put it on and be excited about it. I don't care if I've listened to it 5 times in a row. This song will get me going every time. And like I say, the guitar riff from the opening is so powerful, so strong. Great live song. Great just get the crowd going kind of song. But the harmonies in here, the solo, you can hear the solo kind of build up, and then it gets going again. It's just the way they drop back into the introductory riff and everything like that. Bruce sounds incredible. He is just going for it. It's got gang vocals in it too, which I love. The whole song is just so perfect. It incorporates so many Iron Maiden things into a song that's not super Iron Maiden in general. The structure of the song definitely follows the usual like Iron Maiden writing path, but it just feels so fresh and different. It's also one of the very first songs I ever heard. So nostalgia definitely plays into a factor here. But one of the very first songs I ever heard by Iron Maiden, and it was one of the first songs I ever had on a MP3 player or whatever way back in the day. So it's definitely one of those that, there's just so much personal behind it that I like, so much musically that I like. And I know some people, like I say, they don't love it because it kind of sticks out a little too much or it's a little too different. And I was surprised actually, because I just think it's such a good song in general that it deserves that number one spot here. I think it's just so easy to listen to, so powerful, so fun to kind of go through and play yourself or play live or listen to live or whatever. I don't know. To me, it's just one of the most awesome, perfect Iron Maiden songs. But it's my list. I'll go through them again and put them up on the screen, I think. But yeah, Lost for Words is number 8, Flash of the Blade at number 7, The Duelists number 6, Back in the Village at 5, Powerslave at 4, The Rime of the Ancient Mariner at number 3, Ace is High at 2, and 2 Minutes to Midnight at number 1. Please do not be afraid to comment your lists. Tell me what you guys like most about the album or how you would rank these. If there's anything else you want to discuss or any other videos we can do. Like, this whole channel is basically just a discussion channel, ranking, just talking about our favorite things. And I want you all to feel included in that. I want you all to have a space where you can share those feelings and opinions and stuff. I think that's very, very important in the creative space. Which is why I made this channel. See, this is not my main channel. My main channel is like a gaming channel on YouTube, and then I have a couple of other like podcast things, and then my main thing is I stream on Twitch. But we always get into conversations, discussions, and stuff, so it's fun to talk about this stuff over there if you ever want to talk about it live. But I wanted to have its separate like place here, and I know I should probably make a specific video about what this channel is or how it became, and I probably will at some point. But I do feel the need to throw that in there in case anybody does want to further discuss live over there. You can always come to the Twitch channel and do it. It's the Andy_Havoc channel on Twitch, but leave comments if you want to. I read every one of them, respond to every one of them, so feel free. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling for the first time in my life. Please be sure to have a good day, take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next one.